Hi, my name is Dr. John Douillard, and I want to talk to you today about protein deficiency. I see an inordinate amount of protein deficient patients in my practice. Yeah, I do see lots of vegetarians, but vegetarians are not the only group at risk for protein deficiency. Many folks have stopped eating red meat 20, 30 years ago. They eat just a little bit of chicken and fish, and they may also be at risk for protein deficiency. And I want to talk to you today about how to self-assess whether or not you are protein deficient and some very interesting ways to resolve your issue of protein deficiency. I want to also say that I'm a big believer in a vegetarian diet. I think it's one of the healthiest diets that we can eat. It is, however, a very difficult diet to stay on. Most folks don't cook enough food and don't cook enough in their life to be healthy vegetarians. And I do see lots of unhealthy vegetarians. You know, in India and Asia, they typically have someone who's designated to cook around the clock. They start at breakfast, they cook lunch, they cook supper. Someone cooks and shops for food pretty much all day. We have, super moms who are doing so many different things, and they come and they try to cook. And as a vegetarian, we run the risk of becoming protein deficient without being aware of it. So if you're going to be a vegetarian, be aware and listen to this video and read the article associated with this video where I go into the detail of how to assess yourself. First thing that happens when you become protein deficient is your blood sugar can become unstable, which means you can start to become moody. You can begin to crave sugars, candies, sweets. If you're someone who doesn't feel satisfied without pastas and breads and a big heavy meal, or has jelly beans in your glove compartment, or a stash of candy somewhere in your office, and you crave chocolate or coffee or Starbucks or some type of stimulant to get yourself energy, this is an indicator of blood sugar instability. And if you're a vegetarian or don't eat a lot of protein, that may be something you need to look into. In addition to having your mood be a little unstable and being blood sugar unstable, craving sugars and sweets, the protein around our joints is stored in a fluid called the synovial fluid. So every joint has a sac around it that's filled with protein called the synovial fluid. When you exercise real hard, that fluid pumps in through the lymphatic system into the muscles and feeds and repairs those muscles with protein. That's why we always take protein after we work out, to repair the damage from the muscular activity. When you're protein deficient, the first protein that we lose is the protein in and around our joints, and we can begin to get stiff and achy joints. So if you have stiff, achy joints and you're craving lots of sugar and your mood is a little unstable and you're a vegetarian or don't eat a lot of meat, these are risk factors beginning to add up. In the winter time, as we go into the winter, the body, according to Ayurveda, stores proteins and fats. So our needs for proteins and fats are greater in the winter. So squirrels, for example, eat nuts to store their protein and fat reserves in the winter, so to insulate themselves. We have those same needs. So in the wintertime, if your body doesn't have enough protein, it'll suck the protein from the synovial fluid and push it into the deep tissues, leaving your joints achy and more stiff. So wintertime achy and stiff joints, possible indicator of protein deficiency. In the winter, if you start craving more, blood sugar starts to go up and down more, you're moody more, these are all factors you may want to look at as possible risk factors for protein deficiency. So to fix this imbalance, in Ayurvedic medicine, which is a vegetarian system of medicine, they actually use red meat to restore as a medicine to repair the debt of the lack of protein. In Ayurveda, they suggest using 4 ounces of red meat every day at your main meal at lunchtime for 2 weeks. I have prescribed this for many, many years, and when it works, when I actually prescribe it for someone I think is protein deficient and they actually do it, I've seen nothing less than miracles. So if you're wondering if you're protein deficient, try eating red meat, buffalo or beef, every day, 4 ounces for 2 weeks, and build those reserves. Why red meat? It's the most acidic. The most acidic the protein, the more it penetrates. Acid foods penetrate, alkaline foods cleanse. So when you take a lot of alkaline proteins like nuts and seeds, they're good, but they don't have the acidity as meat to penetrate and drive the protein deep into the tissue. So it was traditionally used as medicine to restore a protein deficiency using red meat. You can increase the red meat in your diet, or the protein in your diet. You can go to the grocery list in the library on my website at lifespa.com and look at the winter grocery list. All the foods in the winter tend to be higher in fat and higher in protein. Eat more of those foods. Get your protein reserves up in the winter. In addition to that, you can have protein shakes, whey, pea, hemp, or rice protein shakes. Very, very good way of supplementing your proteins. And if you think you're protein deficient, have one of those shakes with every meal, 3 meals a day. Don't just have one protein shake and think you're done. And don't have it as a meal. Have it with 3 meals a day. So there you have it, some very simple techniques. There's lots more in the article associated with this video. Please go to my website at lifespa.com for more information. Thanks for listening. I'm Dr. John Douillard.